What's up, guys? It's the Jawnz. Just wanted to make a video about shooting that's gone on. I think everyone's obviously prayers and thoughts and prayers are with the victims and the people affected, the first responders. But I think that first of all, I think that the government needs to resign straight away. This was a long time coming. We had the Free Palestine marches. They were chanting things like "Gas the Jews." It wasn't. I missed it. I didn't even see that clip. But when that sort of thing happens, I think that it's just the government should have just cracked right down on it, and they tried to with the marches and stuff, not going to the Harbour Bridge, but they just didn't do enough. They didn't protect the Jews enough. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that ACO admits that these people were on their list, yet they had legal firearms. If you're on a fucking intelligence watch list for potential extremist behavior, why are you allowed to be keeping your guns? I'm not saying that we need to be taking guns off everybody, but if you're on a watch list, what are we talking about? Even if the guns, you've had them for 10 years, but all of a sudden you go onto a watch list, surely removing all weapons and having some surveillance, making sure that they're not buying heaps of fertilizer from Bunnings or just basic things. If you're on that, what's the point of being on the list if they're not going to revoke some freedoms or keep you under some serious kind of surveillance? What is this list? What is this intelligence agency that we have? What a joke. So those are the two things. And the third thing that I'll say is, look, I have absolutely nothing against Muslim people. The problem that I have is against Islam. So a great analogy was used about Schindler, and the question was asked, because he was a high-ranking Nazi official, right, that saved a lot of Jews. Was he able to find a way through Nazism to let it be okay to save the Jews? Or do you think that he rose above Nazism to be a human being, a Christian, whatever you want to call it, and to save the Jews? So I think it's the latter. I think that he's obviously risen above Nazism to do the right thing. He hasn't found a way through Nazism to do the right thing. So when it comes to Muslims and Islam, I think that the majority of Muslims, the ones that are non-violent, the ones that we're talking about, I think that they've obviously risen above parts of their Islamic faith because some of the teachings of their prophet are abhorrent. And obviously they've maybe taken a little bit of Christianity and converted it mixed it in with a little bit of their faith because, you know, doing what Muhammad tells you to do doesn't feel right as a human being. That's the main thing. So I think that the majority of Muslims out there rise above those extremist, fundamentalist, violent traits that the Islamic faith promotes. And I think they rise above them to be good people and these sorts of things. So what I would do if I was in charge, if I was the Prime Minister, is I would immediately start revoking Islamic privileges. So I would ban the burqa, absolutely gone. This is a problem because the women aren't violent. I haven't, in my entire life, I've never heard of a Muslim woman being part of this. It's always the men. So the ban the burqa thing, it's more of a principle thing. I'd ban the street praying on the carpets and shit, public ones of that. If you want to do it privately, go for it. I would start revoking as many of these ridiculous faith traditions as I could. And basically the ones that started to jump up and down and scream about it, you just deport them. Because those are the ones that are extremist, fundamentalist, that are going to be the problem. That are only one step. If you're praying in a car park on a carpet in front of everybody else, you are extremist. You are fundamentalist. Because I'm a Christian and I don't take everything that Jesus and God and Moses have said literally. There's always maybe a story. There's always a way that it could apply to your life. You can't just take these things literally. So doing that sort of behavior is just offensive to everyone else. I don't need to see that. People switching language just because there's an English speaker there. I think these sorts of things are just awful. So anyway, I would start to remove as many things as I could from this public sort of thing. And the ones that are going to be making the biggest noise about it, I'd just immediately deport. Because obviously, if you're just a regular Muslim in this country, I don't think you're going out and praying on a carpet in the middle of a shopping center. You just go and do your prayer privately like the rest of us do. Pray at home, pray in my car. Never do I ever affect anyone else with my faith. Maybe I'll recite a scripture to make a point or in a conversation. Never will I try and force my faith onto someone else. If someone's interested, absolutely, I'm going to talk about it and how I came to Jesus. But this is a Christian country. And the absolute hero that wrestled this guy, what an absolute legend, obviously. This guy, absolute legend. And he has the rationale in this moment to not pull the trigger, to not become a murderer himself. To be honest, I don't think that killing this person here would make you a murderer at all. I think it's self-defense, and I think he's a hero, and whether he did or didn't, I don't think we can criticize this man. If anything, we can just elevate him even higher for having that self-control, because I tell you what, Jesus was obviously with this man on that day. He was there. Apparently this guy, I don't know if he's a Muslim. Some people are saying he's a Muslim. Some people are saying he's got lots of crosses and stuff in his fruit shop. Doesn't matter. I've always said this, if I was over in Sweden and there was a small little enclave of Australians, right? And it's known that a bunch of Australians are here, and one of them misbehaved or was behaving extremely poorly, I would be the first one to go over there and fucking tell him to pick up your bootstraps, mate, or get out. I wouldn't wait for the natives to be annoyed and like them start talking about it. I would deal with it, and I would be telling all the other Australians, he's giving us a bad name. So I hope that this guy's Muslim, because that's just fantastic. It just proves my point that there are some people who can rise above it and have their faith and have Jesus on their side, live through Jesus's teachings. And then there's some others that it's a father and a son, these two people. Think of the indoctrination and the planning, thank God that the bombs didn't go off, you know what I mean, in the truck. Jeez. So I think that we need to basically immediately look at the ACO watch list, make sure none of those people have access to guns. That's the first thing. The second thing I would do is just stop all immigration from any Islamic nations. Just stop it. Just put a pause on it just for now, until just as a sign of respect. And then I think that Israel and the United States are going to get involved in this, because Australians, our government currently is not equipped to deal with this sort of thing. They are so out of their depth. You know, they're getting finessed by 15-year-olds with the social media bans. So, like, needs some help from Mossad, from the CIA. This government needs to step down, and we need someone that can actually deal with this. I think it's just absolutely horrific. I thought it was going to come for different means, but I was been predicting something like this for about 6 months now. We were letting too much happen, too much slide, too much unfettered immigration, and look what happens. This is what happens, and this is entirely the government's fault. Entirely. Another point that I'll add at the end, this is probably the worst idea that on the video, but if anyone out there is advocating for less guns, that's just ridiculous. I've been, I'm 30, almost 34, been in a little bit of underground when I was younger. I've never seen a gun, a police officers or an illegal sort of situation. Never heard of someone using a gun, never. So they're just not around. To begin with, and if anything, the idea is that I would advocate for more guns, because imagine if a man like this has a handgun and he knows how to use it. Like, it probably doesn't know how to use this big rifle. Like, I wouldn't know how to use it. Like, I'd be pulling the trigger maybe and nothing's happening. Like, do I need to like reload it, or do I need to pump it? Like, fucking knows what I need to do. Got no idea what to do. A handgun, at least there's like safety, and then you can just kind of like that, right? But I think that more guns, if civilians have, certain civilians of the country have concealed carry permits, and this sort of thing erupts, they're just able to neutralize it. You know, the perpetrators get a couple of shots off. You just quickly go like that, and then you just jump down on the ground, hands up, like you've neutralized the threat. So I would advocate for more guns, for more concealed carries and those sorts of things. But again, I think it's the worst idea. Wouldn't really advocate for it. I think that having easy access to guns is only going to make things worse. But again, the last point that I will make is if you can't get a gun, you'll just make a bomb. And if you can't make a bomb, you'll just use a knife or a car. You'll just go driving into people. You'll derail a train. Like, so many different fucking potential options that you could do to have one of these terrorist kind of attacks. You don't necessarily need a rifle. Imagine if they were assault rifles. So yeah, I hope that I've touched on some points because everyone's covering this. I didn't know if I wanted to cover it or not, but I think that maybe I had a couple of points that people aren't touching on. Yeah, I didn't really want to ride the wave of this sort of thing, but you think that I've got to say something about it. Yeah, give a like and a comment, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.